So if you don't know, I mean, our grades go from A to F, A being the biggest bomb, the bombs of the set, F being the unplayable cards that are basically always going to be worse than literally anything else, like a land or a worst card in the set that's actually playable. It's Fs we don't even consider as full cards. You usually lose a card. Like the very important thing about any card is that it's worth a card. Like you want it to be worth a card. Creature is worth a card. Removal is worth a card. You want to trade at least 1-for-1. But Fs are usually not that. Then we have D minuses, which are, you're gonna have some of them, especially when people learn how to draft. You're usually not super happy about having D cards, D minus, D plus D, but you gotta include some in your deck. Sometimes we give D cards to good tricks because you cannot take them early and you don't want like 10 of them. Same for cards that you are great, but you want one-offs, and then you don't really have to pick it highly. You're gonna, they kind of get a D even though they're great if you don't want 2 or more in the deck. C, that's gonna be the most of your deck. If you have C plus cards, that's usually a very good base of the deck. C minus C is fine, but C plus is where it's at. And when we get into the Bs, B minus, B, B plus, these are gonna be the cards that pull you into certain colors. They're usually overstated creatures or undercosted creatures, which is kind of the same. Undercosted effects, 2-for-1s for the board, really efficient removal, so you always gain mana. So with these cards, you're basically going to be gaining either value or tempo. Tempo being you're paying less mana than your opponent for the same thing. So there we go. If most of your deck is B, you're super lucky and you have the most broken deck ever. But usually it's going to be most of the Cs, a bit of Bs, very hopefully a bomb, which would be an A, and then a couple of Ds as well, because you can't always get what you want. Let's go.
This is Embermouth Sentinel. Embermouth Sentinel is 2 mana for an artifact creature, Chimera. It's a 2/1. When this creature enters, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, then shuffle, and put that card on top. If you control a dragon, put that card onto the battlefield tapped instead. So yeah, this is... I mean, we've seen this type of effect a bunch before. However, this is probably the most pushed I think we've seen it at, specifically because of the Dragon Claws. There's not a great way to get dragons on the battlefield for super cheap, so this is basically saying, hey, if you draw this super late, you get to quote-unquote draw a card, you know, and ramp, instead of, you know, this card just being a 2/1. I don't think the effect, if you control a dragon, is, like, super busted. At the stage where, you know, you already have a dragon out, then you top deck this off the top, you know, an extra land. Most likely it doesn't have a huge impact on the game. So it's I would say it's, you know, worse than drawing a card. But, you know, on turn 2, this can help you fix, especially if you're trying to do 3-color or 2-color splashy things. So I think it's going to be fine in this set. Normally, this is like a D, sometimes even a D-. But I think this set's going to be a D+.
So there is one common dragon per color, and one colorless one, and they all cost 5 or 6.
They're all the Omen dragons on color, right?
Yeah, one color Omen dragons. We're gonna get to what Omen is soon. So these are the commons. So how much do you need to ramp when you have 5 or 6 mana? That's the biggest question, right? The 2 mana 2/1 that searches for land and you put it on top is not great, because it seems like, oh, it's gonna help me splash. But it's a 2/1, so that's very weak. Artifacts don't matter in this set, if I'm correct. The problem is, you're not drawing that card, so maybe you need... Let's say you're splashing for red, and you need red, and you play this, you get red. It seems like, yeah, that's nice. But a lot of times it's not nice at all, because you had to put it on top, which means you're losing a card draw. A full card you're losing to get that red. So the cards that, or cards that you're splashing for that you're gonna play because of that, they better be extremely powerful in those scenarios where you actually don't want an extra land. Because you do want red, but maybe you don't want to draw that land. So that's always the problem with the cards like this. Now, of course, on turn 2, a lot of the times, the best card in your deck is a land, because you want to get to 3 or 4 or 5. So on turn 2, 3, this is pretty good, but it still doesn't draw you a card. You still get a worst 2-drop by today's standards, which is a 2/1. Yeah, what do you give it, a D+?
D+.
And the uncommon dragons, like, they're not much big. They're all 5 and 6. There's one 4-drop, right? Yeah, there's one 4-drop dragon in red. That's it. So, D plus from you?
D plus.
I don't know, I'm just gonna give it a D. I think you got better ways of getting that mana in this set instead of just putting something on top.
Okay.
Yeah. I just don't like it. But there is every card that fixes could be better in this set, right? Because of pushed 3-color team that we have.
There is a decent amount of push color, 3-color things, yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that the fixing cards will be a little bit better than they look. It just depends on which ones are bad enough where you just don't include them over replaceable effects.
Yeah. We're gonna see. We gotta see about this card because I think there's better fixing. But I guess if you're in a pickle, you want to play those 3-color cards, then you get this. Next up, we got Dragonstorm Globe for 3. It's an artifact. Each dragon you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Yeah, it's not good. I don't like this that much as well. I mean, probably better in this set. You're not playing that many dragons. There are not any small dragons. The +1/+1 counters matter for, I think it was green, black,
White.
white.
Abzan. Yep.
It was.
Abzan colors care about counters.
Sorry, what do you say?
The Abzan colors care about counters.
The Abzan color. Okay, so green, black, white. We have only 5 3-color. 3-color pairs here, right? Wait, is that? Wait,
Yes.
how many? Wait, there are 10, right? There are 10 in total. 3-color pairs, right? Sorry?
There's 5 3-color pairs. There's 10 total, but only 5
There's 10 total. So wait, are these shards or are these wedges?
These are wedges.
These are wedges. Okay.
These are wedges. Yep.
Can you? So we have. So wedges are what? They're like two color pairs that are next to each other, and then the one that is not next to them, right?
Yep. And then wedges have 2 enemies within them.
So sorry, wedges?
Wedges have 2 enemies within them. Shards have 2 allies within them.
Right. So these are shards then.
No, these are wedges.
Wait, how? These are wedges.
These are wedges.
And wedges, you said that wedges have 2 enemies?
Yes. Abzan has green black, which are enemies, and then black white, which are enemies.
Oh, okay. Okay, wait, and shards, and how does I always forget these things. And shards, they have 2 allies.
Yes, they have 2 allies. For example, Grixis has red black and blue black.
And then only one is opposing shard. Okay. So this is how I remember the shards. They're just all next to each other. But this is
they're all next to each other. Yes.
So yeah, okay, I'm gonna remember this now because these are just next to each other. I'm like, how are there enemies? And there are one. Okay, so
I'm gonna derail.
What?
I'm gonna derail the stream for 1 second. Go to your Stream Together tab.
Yeah.
Please. Go to the microphone icon on the bottom.
Yeah.
And just make sure that your actual microphone is selected as the source.
Microphone Scarlet Solo USB. It should, yeah, it is.
It is?
Scarlet Solo, yeah, that's my... Why? It sounds like a lot worse.
GG. It's probably because you have some OBS filters for your stream. We're gonna have to leave it like that. That's fine.
Okay,
don't worry about it.
Does it sound like the whole quality is worse? Because the only filters that I have is like the gate, so you can't hear literally everything. And if I start screaming, that it kind of reduces the sound. What is the name? Limiter. But does it sound like shit or? On your stream, I know it's fine on my stream.
Yeah, it sounds like you're using a different mic entirely.
Completely different mic. Okay, let me check that because it could be picking up one from for some reason on from my webcam.
It's yeah, it sounds like a webcam mic.
Micro, but I mean, fuck. Like I literally have the same mic on. Yeah, I have the same mic chosen as I have on my OBS. So that is weird.
Okay, fine. You keep talking about this. I'm gonna ask Han something.
Wait, microphone settings. I'm
Talk
gonna
about
check
the
it.
globe.
Okay. All right. Mana rocks. I don't care about them. Right? Did Han find something? Okay. So now we got wedges, and wedges have two enemy pairs. So it's like, okay, this is how I'm gonna remember this. Two are next to each other and one is away from both of them, right? We have white, blue, black, red, green. So two are next to each other. Oh, that's smart. Wait 1 second. Two are next to each other. Two colors are next to each other and one is away from them. That is how my mind remembers it. But it's all two enemy pairs, so that's also smart. Because like that one is enemy with both of them. Enemy means it's not next to each other. Okay. I'm just doing the mental exercises. Okay, I'm gonna tap my mics, right?
Yep.
Also, by the way, is my cam lagging for anybody?
Your cam seems relatively smooth for me.
Okay. So let's do this. I'm gonna thump it, right?
Yep, thump it. Oh, that's the mic. I don't know what's up.
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why it sounds like that.
Stream. Maybe I should. Okay, you know what? Let me do this. I see that maybe Stream Together got like upgrade or some shit because now it has like microphone settings. So I'm gonna like disable the noise suppression. Bam. And tell me how it sounds now. Is this better? Or is it the same? Is this the same or better? There was like noise suppression on the Stream Together. They might have just added that. I mean, on my end, you guys don't have to say anything. It's only on Scotty's end. It is the same. It's so weird. Okay,
Try tap your webcam. Try tap your webcam for me. Yeah, I can't hear a thing. Okay.
No?
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
Wait.
GG.
I'm removing echo cancellation then. Boom. Okay. I removed echo cancellation. Did anything change now? And hopefully there's no echo. Tap your cam for me, baby. Is it No, I know it sounds good when in my chat because you're hearing my mic as you always do, but something is happening on the Scotty's end. So is the same? Okay, there's just echo now, right? It's the same, exactly the same. Okay, let me get this back.
It's okay. We'll come up with some ideas before tomorrow.
Yeah, but I don't know how to change it. Like everything should be. It's literally the same mic.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's so weird.
Maybe we overlook something. That's okay.
I mean, it's the same mic, right?
Yeah, it's the same mic.
Okay, there's some echo now, I think. On your end.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I can hear myself a bit.
Okay.
Do you have any filters on for me, Scotty?
No.
Scotty?
Yep, I got nothing.
What?
I don't have any filters for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
why
let's
don't
go.
we just continue?
Okay.
Did you give this a grade?
There's this like okay. So, black, white, green have an artifact team. Sorry, nobody has artifact team. Have a +1/+1 team. Plus any counters like +1/+1 counters, whatever. So that's like cool. But I don't know, man. There's not enough dragons. They're all already pretty big. So I guess if you really need it, you can do it. You can play this. But I don't know if you do need it. So I'm just gonna go with a D for this one. I think it's still playable, but just not something that I want. I'd rather have.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's playable too. I can't imagine that it's going to be particularly desirable, so I'll join you at a D.
Counter is Golgari archetype, but it's white as well. It's white, green,
Yeah.
black, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to end up in my deck sometimes. Next one is Watcher of the Wayside. 3 mana for an artifact creature. Golem. It's a 3/2, and when this creature enters, target player mills 2 cards, you gain 2 life. Sultai, which is green, black, and blue, has graveyard themes, especially with their mechanic is the renew mechanic, which does something if you exile a card from a graveyard. This is the gain 2 life clause on this is what appeals to me the most, because like a 3-drop 3/2 can trade with a fair amount of things, you know, like on curve. This is most likely able to trade with the thing, which is nice. Most likely you target yourself, so you get a little bit of value, gain a little bit of life, and hopefully this trades. I think this is not bad. I think this is not bad at all. I don't know how highly you take this. In fact, I don't think you take this particularly highly, but I do think that certain decks are going to be just totally fine if they have this in the deck. So I think this is a D+, pretty close to a C- for me.
I kind of want to give it a C-, depending where you put it, right? Like, 2 life is really nice, and if you care about putting things in your graveyard, this is not bad. It keeps you alive. It's kind of like
2 life is pretty big.
Yeah,
that's like half a Ketradon.
What?
That's half a Ketradon.
Yeah, that's half a Ketradon, but it's not a 6/6 with reach. I mean, I like the bike. I really like the bike. I'm just there is not as much, I think, card draw and late game in this set. So there is a good amount of commons, like random creatures that draw you cards. White has a really good card draw engine. That's crazy, actually. I think let's give it a D+ for now as well. But I think Sultai, if you play it, you're gonna be happy with this. Also, by the way, somebody just mentioned there is like 2. There's only 5. Yeah, Mackenzie said there's only 5 2-color archetypes. Only 5 2-color archetypes? Is that normal for Tarkir? I can't remember really. Like, shouldn't there be 10? No. Sorry. So we only got the ones that are next to each other, or what?
Only the enemy ones are 2-color supported.
Only the enemy, because wedges are enemy 3-color pairs, right, Scotty?
Yep.
Thank you. I'm learning. Okay, so only the ones that are not touching itself. This is a introverted set. We need more hugs in the world, but not here. Here we are to kill and do crimes. So it is blue. We have white, black, white, red, blue, red, blue, green, and what is the other one, Scotty? What is the last one that I didn't mention? And black, green, and black, green. Okay, and black, green.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and black, green. So only those 5. Okay, that's super important. This set is gonna be a bit hard to start. Got all of these things to think about. All right, Jade cast Sentinel for 4 mana. We got 1/5 reach. Wow. For 2 mana and a tap, put target card from a graveyard onto the bottom of its owner's library. Oh yeah, I gotta say one thing. So there are cards that really care about you exiling things from your removing things from your graveyard. Okay? Okay, guys? Ape Snake. Okay, yeah, that's kind of weird. Set in motion by artificials long forgotten. So yeah, Ape Snake, I guess that's like Sultai thing. There is Sultai, right? Wait. Blue, black, green. Yeah, there is Sultai. So okay, this is the effect that I freaking love. Sam Black is gonna hate on this card. Not love it. Because you really wanna put multiple things, right? When you start doing this, it's super late game. You wanna be not tapping, you wanna be just like putting it a lot. Tup, 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 tup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And stacking up that end of your library, especially when you're milling a lot. You cannot do that, you can do it only once. That kind of sucks. But you can do this for the opponent's cards, right? So that's like an extra. They always try to put that. I hate that. I hate it. Because Every time they put, like last time with in Duskborn Chandelier, they gotta make it the worst piece of crap stat line in the game. They gotta have horrible stat line because you can put things from your opponent's graveyard. Just let us do our graveyard, let us play with ourselves and play with our graveyard, please. Because then we can put multiples and then we can have better creatures. Because when you can put things only from your graveyard, the creature can have decent stats. I guess that's the design decision. But that being said, usually this is for like late game and stuff like that. Now you can remove their renew, which is nice. But the biggest thing is gonna be you don't want to be just playing against the opponent's deck, which is gonna be random. You want to be playing for your deck. So, Scotty, do you know, like, are these synergies where you are removing cards from your graveyard, like, and then something triggers, something happens? Are these synergies very strong? I kind of forgot. This card is garbage. It's not. It's horrible. It's like tapping it is bad. Paying 2 mana is normal. Stat line is bad. And you cannot use it multiple times. This is a really, really, really bad card. And this is, I love these cards. Like I'm kind of on. I think Sam Black was the one that liked it the most. And I'm on that train, man. I'm on that train, and I every time I can play with a card like this, I play it. But it doesn't. It's not this stat line like this. It doesn't have to tap, and yeah. Synergies are basically non-existent for this one as well. So this is for me gonna be a D-. It's not an F, but it doesn't do what I want it to do. Is I mill a ton and then I put the cards back. I pay 6 mana to put 3 cards back. No. Gotta pay 2, gotta tap. No thank you. D- D- for me as well?
Yep.
Yeah, the synergies are just not there for this one. And the tapping kills it, right? What if it didn't tap? But kind of okay, huh?
It'd be kind of okay, yeah. I mean, 5 is a lot of toughness. Sometimes all you just want to do is block.
Yeah, you want this one to survive. I would actually like it quite a lot. If it was just 2 mana and do it. And let's remove the ability to use the opponent's graveyard, right? I would be happy with that. Just like,
yeah.
That would be way better. Just my graveyard and doesn't tap.
Okay, neat. I'll read the next one. Next one is Boulder-Born Dragon. 5 mana for an artifact creature dragon. It's a 3/3 with flying and vigilance. Whenever this creature attacks, surveil 1. Do you know what we failed to do? We failed to talk about the uncommon blue fetcher when we talked about the orb. You remember that one?
When we talk about the orb?
Yes. When we talked about Dragonstorm Globe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we mention that at all?
The blue fetcher that can search for that. I mean, who cares?
Yeah, the blue fetcher searches for the orb and searches for this dragon. So for context, there's a 1 mana blue uncommon in this set that you can pay 2 and tap it to search for either this Boulderborn dragon or that orb that adds +1/+1 counters on dragons. It's a little hard to talk about these cards without the context of that card, because I actually think a lot of, or well, we can talk about it without that, and then we can talk about it with it afterwards. Boulderborn Dragon specifically is a 5 mana 3/3 with flying and vigilance. It's an artifact creature. Whenever this creature attacks, surveil 1. I mean, this card sucks, right? This card is very bad on its own. Like a full D- on its own. Very close to an F in my opinion. But we need to talk about it in the context of the fact that there's an uncommon blue card that can fetch it. So basically, the only time you'd want this card is if you can fetch it. How valuable, Lola, do you think that fetching clause is? You get a quote-unquote free card, but the card is pretty bad.
No, I don't think it changes anything.
You don't think it changes anything?
Okay. No, I don't think so. So you're playing like a weak creature, right, in blue, and then to fetch another weak creature, just draw some cards that are good, right? Just play card draw. That's 3 mana to fetch, right? I think, and then when you don't fetch it, you draw it, you draw this. I don't know. Yep. Just play good cards, I think, and draw those. I think that's something we don't have to talk about, but I like talking about it. I just don't think it matters, that's why. But I do think that the Dragon Claws matters. That's the one that I'm thinking about. Because every color has an uncommon enchantment that you play, something happens, and then whenever you play a dragon, whenever a dragon enters the battlefield, this is a dragon, you return that enchantment back to your hand so you can cast it again. For example, maybe the best one, I kind of forgot what all of them do, is white one, which for 4 mana makes 2 2/2s. Two tokens, that's 4/4 over 2 bodies, pretty good. And then when you're playing dragons, you get it back, you pay 4 mana again, you get two more tokens, get it back, and so on and so on. So that's where I'm thinking about, maybe I want to play a little bit more dragons if I'm trying to do that. So that's where it maybe can do something. Is the blue guy, the blue 1-drop, more important for you for this card, or these enchantments? For me, it's enchantments all the way.
Well, I think the blue thing fetching something that can bounce the enchantments is pretty real.
That is true.
The same thing with the beholding a dragon. Beholding a dragon means that you can reveal it from your hand for an additional effect in your cards.
Yes.
Like you just go 1-drop and then 2-drop fetch a dragon, then you can start beholding your stuff. It just like kind of increases the amount of dragons that you can for sure have in your hand.
Just so you know, guys, Behold the Dragon is not new. It just got a new name. Behold the Dragon is basically when you play a certain spell, usually it's instant or sorcery if I'm correct, you can reveal a dragon or just you need to have a dragon on the battlefield. So in hand or battlefield, if you have a dragon, something else happens. You gain a bit of life, something gets flesh, something costs less, things like that. So that's pretty good. Bucha, ticho. That's pretty good, but I'm still on a D- for this one. And then when you want more dragons, I guess you take it, but I think every other dragon is better. But I guess if you have those enchantments, and then you go for... Then you can go for this and the blue fetcher. I think that's kind of where I'm okay. But it all starts with enchantments, I think, that get back to your hand. Beholding a dragon is okay. I didn't don't remember anything being that crazy with Beholding Dragon.
It's mostly like discounts, etc. Yeah, I'm kind of more of a believer, but just as a solid D. So not much more believing, but a little bit. Tiny bit.
Every color has one common, and there is no discount for Beholding. Hey, Rishi. Что дочь?
I'm probably confusing the mechanics then.
Up.
I think there's a discount or an increased cost when you target a dragon, so that's not beholding.
Discount is uncommon. Is discount maybe something on uncommon as a discount?
Nah, I might be confusing it with the white common, or is it white that destroys something, but it costs more if you target a dragon? Might be black.
There is 0 uncommons with Behold. Is that true?
Yeah. So it's the black murder that I'm confusing it with.
Ah, okay. There is a 1 mana instant that gives -3/-3, but you pay 2 mana if you Behold. So if you don't Behold, you gotta pay 2 mana. So that's kind of...
Okay. No, you're right. I got all mixed up because you're lying to me.
Yeah, I was lying to you. But is that so important? You said most of it is discount stuff. It's just this one. But I mean, 2 mana -3/-3 instant is good. You don't need to make it better. I don't think like, yeah, I'm playing this. I'm gonna play a lot of dragons, bad dragons, because now it's gonna cost 1 instead of 2. I don't think anybody does that. Yeah, just a D-. Got a lot of lands.
Mediums. Do you value the lands any differently in the set?
Yep. Yep. I think you almost always want to splash in this set. You almost always want to play like 3 colors, or 2 colors and a splash, maybe a large splash. So I'm gonna be on a C-. Usually I'm on a D+, but I'm gonna be on a C-. C- for these lands.
I mean, that's a question. Are the enemy lands higher value than the allied lands for you?
Sorry, what?
Are the enemy lands higher value than the allied lands for you?
I mean, it just depends what you need, I guess, and where you want to splash. It's probably gonna come... I don't think it's gonna work like that much. It's gonna be more like... I'm kind of got into a color, and then I know what I want to splash in this color the most. And then you start taking lands, which could be pretty quickly. Like after you have like 3 cards or 4 cards, then you're like, okay. Sometimes in some colors you're not gonna want to splash, maybe. That's where you just don't get lands. So it's more gonna be like experience with the set, see where I want to splash, where I don't want to set, like everywhere. It's not just gonna so I'm just gonna be on a C, C- for all of them.
Okay. I mean, it's just that you're so much less likely to end up in an allied color 2-color deck, right?
True. Yeah, there's more chance to have an enemy color pair to splash for. So what do you give it? I give it a C-.
C- is good. I have this as C- as well.
But we also have Evolving Wilds. And for this set, I think you're gonna want to have basic lands, so I'm gonna C for Evolving Wilds.
I'll go a little bit higher as a C+.
Hmm.
The thing is, like, unlike a lot of graveyard sets, sometimes putting lands in your bin is like really valuable, but there's like no core mechanic that cares about putting lands in your bin, right? For Sultai, that cares about lands or cards leaving your graveyard, sure,
Yeah.
but it's not like you can use Evolving Wilds to put a renew card into your graveyard, right? I'll still go C+.
I can
Is
tell
that
you my limiter if you want, Scotty, if you want to adjust that. You want to,
no, match it to mine, it's fine.
okay. These are all the lands that we talked about, gain you 1 life, which is kind of nice if you're splashing. There's 10 of them, and we are done with colorless commons. Onto the colorless uncommons. And first up, well, Scott, you can start. We have these monuments. This is going to be a cycle of 5 different monuments for 5 3-color pairs. You go. I gotta pet the dog, and I'm listening.
Okay, this is Abzan Monument. Abzan Monument is 2 for an artifact. When this artifact enters, search your library for plains or basic plains, swamp, or forest card, reveal it, put into your hand, then shuffle. 1 white, black, green, and tap. Sacrifice this artifact. Create an XX white spirit creature token, where X is the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Activate only as a sorcery. To be honest, I like all these monuments. I think that they're actually quite good at fixing within your colors. Sometimes you will even fix outside, even if you're not like Abzan as a color combo, because they'll just hit 2 of them.
Yeah.
That's fine. And a bailout of an actual creature later is pretty good. Tempo wise, on turn 2, not great, but depending on the set, sometimes missing your second land drop is the end. Sometimes it's not. In this set, I highly doubt that missing your 2 drop is the end. So I'm actually kind of okay developing my mana base on turn 2 just to develop more powerful cards later with more consistency. And the fact that this becomes any creature at all, like with toughness, if you cast this after, or if you crack this after your 4 or 5 drop, it's not unreasonable for it to be a 4/4 or 5/5. So I think these are powerful. I actually really think these are quite good. I'm going to give this one a C+.
Yeah. This is what I'm also thinking about when giving lands a little bit lower grade, maybe. Like, I really like this, and they're actually 2-for-1s, right?
Yes,
So, yeah,
they are.
you get lands and you get things. So the thing is, they're not all made equal, but it's gonna be so hard to know which ones are the best, as you want to splash more in certain color pairs and color trios. You want to splash more in certain wedges, color trios. So that's one thing, right? If you're always splashing in Sulta, you always want to get those. If you're not always splashing in white, red, black, you don't always want to get this. And then the effect is very different, right? This one requires you to have something, or it could be garbage. So this one I think is a little bit weaker, but I'm still gonna be on a C+ for it. I like it. Next up we go Jeskai Monument. Same thing, but for island, mountain, or plains. And you can tap 4 mana. You always gotta tap 3 of these sources, but 4 in total. And sack this and create 2 1/1 flyers. Now, is this better? I don't know. This can be pretty big. This is always 2 1/1s. Question is, do you like flashing in Jeskai? Do you care about these flyers? There is a bit of a theme of flurry, which is double spelling in Jeskai, and a bit of prowess. So this card does both, so that's kind of nice. I'm also gonna be on a C+ for this one. Sorry?
Yeah, C plus is nice for this. It's kind of interesting because the first half is actually pretty dang good at enabling flurry, right? For example, on turn 4, you can play this, hit your 4th land drop, play another 2-drop, enable flurry. But the back half doesn't do that at all. But two birds are fine. That's fine. That's a-okay by me. I'm still giving this a C plus as well. I don't think this one's anything special though.
It's basically like you got a creature that fetches to a land before you play the creature, right? So this one is
Yep.
hopefully big, but maybe garbage. This one is always 2/1/1s. So you fetch that land that you probably need for splashing, and then you get a creature. So that's like why I like why we both probably like this so much. Definitely myself. It's you get the land when you need it, and then you get the creatures when you have the mana for them, and not much else to do. So that's really nice.
Next one is Mardu Monument. Mardu Monument is when this... Oh yeah, so it's the same thing except with the Mardu colors. Mountain, Plains, or Swamp. 2 red, white, black. Tap, sacrifice this artifact. Create 3 1/1 red warrior creature tokens. They gain menace and haste until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. This one is very spicy because I do think that Mardu, being probably the most aggressive of the wedges, maybe Jeskai can compete with it. This is all just speculation. Doesn't care as much, or doesn't have as much value with missing their 2-drop. But I do think that this effect in that sort of style is very, very powerful. Mardu has things that care about tokens. They have things that care about tokens dying. And this actually fits very synergistically within that deck. And this is kind of a beating. This is just on the battlefield. And then this is just threatening your opponent to not just go too low, because this actually represents a decent chunk of damage. This is more like a burn spell than it is an actual creature. So this is the most unique one. And I actually think this is still pretty good. I'm also going to give this a C+. But I don't think that you can look at this, say that, oh, this doesn't create tokens that stay around, and call it garbage. I do think that it fits nicely with what Mardu is trying to do. So I'm giving this a C+.
I mean, these tokens stay around.
Why did I think you had to sacrifice them?
Because there's mobilize in the set. That's a mechanic. I think it would be absolute garbage if they didn't stay around. That's 5 mana.
I don't think it would even be garbage if they didn't stay around.
I mean, I think the effect would be the garbage, but you get a land still. Oh my god, wait, you really liked it when they stayed around, when they didn't stay around?
Yeah, because that's a lot of damage off the cuff. This
no,
is a B-
that's not a lot of damage. That's 3 1/1s.
That's 3 1/1. That's 3 damage. That's a lightning bolt.
Wow, 5 mana, triple colored lightning bolt to the face.
Gosh, you must just have nice playing commander, Lola.
Crazy.
You start off with 30 life every game. Must be nice.
Sorry, what?
Number 1.
What did you say?
What?
What did you say? I didn't hear you really.
Must be
repeat.
easy to hit number 1. We start off with 30 life every game.
Wait, what? It's easy? No, repeat it really. Come on.
It's all moo.
Nah, you always talk when I'm talking at the same time. Can repeat it? Don't be like kindergarten.
I'm saying that. No, I'm saying it must be easy to hit number 1 when you start off with 30 life every game.
Because then I survive this crazy damage for 5 mana.
It's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway, what do you give this card?
That's really good, by the way. Yeah, I like it, but I do like it quite a lot. There's also like, so Scotty was thinking about Mobilize. Mobilize is the new effect where I'm petting the dog. That's why I'm doing this. Scotty, there's the Mobilize. So it's tacked on creatures. It's an effect on creatures, which says when this creature attacks, you create X 1/1 guys that attack and die on the end of the turn. That's why he thought that this was the same, because that's the effect. And that effect actually makes this even better, right? If you're mobilizing, if you're getting a lot of 1/1s, it's very hard to block all of those 1/1s. And these ones have menace and haste. And if you're gonna be attacking next turn when they lose menace and haste, they can still get through if you're making more 1/1s. So I quite liked it. I'm on a C+, but I think this is the best one so far. Oh, Scotty, what are you giving it? Like now it's way better than what you thought, right?
B-.
Okay, I can see B- for this. Okay, B minus for me as well. Like I like this a lot more than the previous two. A lot more. Yeah, B minus seems fine. But it's a little bit weird to play this if you're aggressive, right?
That's why I think it's the most powerful one. That's my speculation on it.
But I mean, if you're aggressive, then it's weird to play 2 mana fetch a land. Okay. Next up we have Sultan Monument, same thing for black, green, blue. But for 5 mana, same as the last one, you sacrifice this and create 2/2 zombies. Okay, I like this more than the birds, even though it's 5 instead of 4 mana. 5 mana for 2/2 is... like 4 mana would be like, that's where I'm really good. But this did get you a land, so I quite like this as well. It's either a B minus or a C plus. I'm on a C plus.
How do you think this scales in comparison to the other ones?
What do I mean?
Like, do you like this the most, or like how much do you like it in comparison to the other monuments that you've seen?
I mean, I gave it a C plus and I gave a B minus to the last one, so...
I mean, sure, but in comparison to
For the
Abzan
first
and
two?
Jeskai.
I like
Yep.
it more than 2 birds for less mana, and I like it more than... What was that? Than 4 mana XX Spirit. I would rather get 2 bodies than have conditional big boy.
Okay, I think this is the worst one,
Oh,
which is very interesting. I
interesting.
think that Sultai is the color that wants this effect the most, as in it wants the fixing the most. Because I actually think that Sultai colors are traditionally just a lot more splashy, value, etc., in exchange for consistency. But at the stage of the game that you're cracking this, I do think that 2/2 bodies are hard to work with. I understand blocking, going wide blocking, etc., is nice, so it's nice that they're not tapped. Um, but I think it's much harder to make use of 2/2s than evasive creatures or a large creature in the late game. I still think this is a C plus, but I do think it's the weakest monument.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. I like to... Like, this is relevant bodies, I think. Okay, it's interesting. I wonder how the first one is gonna be. Like, that needs a condition for you to get that big creature. That needs a condition to be met. Here. You're on for... Sorry?
Do you want me to read this? I'll read it.
Yeah, I read the last one. So.
Oh, you did? Oh yeah, sorry. Team monument.
Who's
Team
petting the dog
monument.
here? Who is
2 mana for an artifact. That's my bad. When this artifact enters, search your library for a basic forest island. Okay, so forest, island, or mountain. The teamer colors 3, green, blue, red. Tap and sacrifice this artifact. Create a 5/5 elephant creature token. Activate only as a sorcery.
Now it's 6
6
mana.
mana for 5/5, which is consistent, sure. I do think the teamer is also a relatively splashy wedge, along with Sultai. 6 mana for 5/5 is okay. It's nice to have, right? It's okay. I don't think this is anything too crazy, too special. But I do think it's still on par with the rest. This is still a C plus for me.
I'm gonna go with a C plus, but I think this might be the 4 mana copy the toughness. Make a big boy if you have big toughness. I think is 4 mana is so different. 4/5 is very manageable. 6 is a lot. So for 6 I expect a lot, but still a good card because it's... Oh, now we got the uncommon 3 lands. We have 5 of these. We have 5 of these. And, well, they give us... we have 5 wedges. So, wedges have 2 enemy pairs. Means you get... 2 color pairs are touching each other, 1 is not touching either. So that's what we get. I love these. These just get you everything. You also play these if you're splashing only for one of these colors. So I'm gonna be on a C plus B minus for this one, but I'm gonna start them as a C plus. There is a good amount of fixing in this set that's really good. So you can take them a little bit lower. If there was not enough fixing, I would go for B minus, C plus for now. I think it's better than Evolving Wilds.
I'll go B minus on these.
Okay.
I think these are actually extremely powerful fixers. Just to reiterate what Lolo was saying is that it's you can take these early because it's so much more likely that it ends up being useful for you. Like way more than you'd expect by just adding one additional color onto a tap land. Like if you take a 2-color tap land, it's relatively high likelihood that it just doesn't end up helping you fix by the end of your draft because you have to pivot, you have to move, you have to change archetypes. But because it spans 3 colors rather than 2, you don't have to make use of all 3. You can just make use of 2. And that just means that there's so many more pairs of colors that you can utilize with this. So I'm going to give these a B minus, all of them.
Okay, okay. They're easy, very easy to take. They're so easy to take, it's hard to go wrong. They were really good in OG cons, but I think in OG cons fixing was bad. It was not that good. Fixing was not great in original cons, right, Scotty?
I'd never played that set.
What the But it came to Arena.
What? It did?
Cons of Tarkir.
I never played it.
Cons of Tarkir. It
Oh,
came to Arena.
I wasn't playing Magic during that time, probably.
Oh, okay then. Well, we are done with uncommons. There is really good fixing in colorless, lands, artifacts. So far, really good fixing, but that's not all. Soon we are gonna get some fixing in every single color. So that's an extra. But first, let's go to the rares, the colorless rares. Do you like this? This is Tarkir Dragonstorm, but there was cons of Tarkir before. What, 10-15 years ago, and on Arena last year, I think. Scotty, how do you like the fixing so far?
The fixing of the land slot's okay. The fixing of the colorless is like, relatively disappointing, but as it should be, I think. There's no particular card that stands out as, oh dang, this is like a fixer, right? There's nothing on the level of Marshall's Path Cruiser.
True.
Which we totally whiffed on, by the way, during the set review.
Totally whiffed on. The card is great. But,
yeah, we totally whiffed on that.
But come on, let's be real. Like in basically any set, that card will be whatever because you can't crew 5.
Yeah.
You just can't afford crewing 5. If the set is faster, you can't crew 5. Like you better have like 7/7 lifelinker or something. You can't crew 5. But in this set you can. So I'm fine with completely whiffing on that one. And glad that it was great. I wonder how many things we're gonna whiff on this one. But there is like, okay, there's not like that, like, oh, crazy fix, but there is so many really good fixers. So, I mean, let's be real.
Are we on Dragon Fireblade?
Wait, let's be real. Like, I think that these 2 mana monuments are gonna be on par with the cruiser. From
what was your cruiser grade at the end of the set?
I don't know, B minus probably.
Yeah, probably B minus, right? Okay.
So we're gonna see.
Okay.
Okay, first up,
I'm gonna bet that they're gonna be weaker.
What do you say?
I'm gonna bet that they're gonna be weaker.
Okay, interesting. First up, we have probably up a little bit weaker. Dragonfire Blade, first rare of the set. It's an equipment that says equipped creature gets +2/+2, has hexproof from monocolored. Equip 4, this ability costs 1 less to activate for each color of the creature it targets. So it's gonna be 3 for monocolored creatures, or 4 for artifacts. 2 for 2-color creatures. That's where it gets crazy. No, we didn't cover. We are gonna go to multicolored soon. But first, maybe we cover the multicolor last after we go through all the colors. I think that's probably gonna be the best thing for this set. But we're gonna discuss this in a second. Okay. If you're targeting a 2-colored creature, that is amazing. 1 mana, 2 mana to equip, crazy. +2/+2, only +2/+2, nothing else, is amazing in if you pay 2 to equip. Just amazing. And it's so easy to play this for 1. So even if you equip once for 3, I think it's amazing. Hexproof for monocolor, there's a lot of monocolor cards. There's a lot of multicolor in this set, a ton. There's a lot of monocolor as well. So you are going to be seeing monocolor creatures, definitely. I like this a lot. I'm going to be on a B for this one. The biggest grade so far.
B for the biggest grade.
Yeah.
Targeting monocolored creatures is fairly mediocre, right? 3 to equip. 1 mana to develop, 3 to equip. Pretty mediocre.
First time it's okay because it's 1 + 3, so it's 4 in total. Usually we
Yep.
have 2 +2, that's 4, and that's always great. Like 2 and 2 to equip just for +2/+2, that's always great. The first time I think it's fine. One time equipping a monocolor creature is fine, I think.
Yeah, actually, the more that I think about this, it's not bad. It's not. I don't think I'm quite as high. I'm still giving this a B minus. But you know, like we haven't even discussed talking about the 3-color hybrid cards or the 3-color cards,
Yeah,
which is super nutty.
yeah,
then
yeah,
you're
yeah.
just juggling. So I'm gonna give this a B minus.
Okay. Wait, there are lands here, right? I mean, should we cover these lands
Yeah,
right
yeah. Why
now?
not? Yeah, let's just do it right now.
Okay,
It's here. It's sorted like this on
on the side.
the sheet, so we should do them now.
Let's do the lands then. Alright, we got Corey. Your go, Scotty.
Quarry Mountain Monastery land. This land enters tapped unless you control a plains or an island.
Oh,
It adds red, and you can pay 3 in a red to tap it. Exile top card of your library until end of your next turn. You may play that card. What I've noticed that in Modern Limited is that even though there's a lot of these lands that seem like, oh, they're like such high upside, and like if you have extra mana, you can start dumping into. Something like Abishkar Raceway comes to mind.
but it's
Like,
colorless.
yeah, for sure, and that makes a huge difference. But
That
just in
kills it,
terms of
yeah.
using the effect, you don't really run out of things to do that often in Modern Limited. So I think that even though it looks like infinite value, I think the value of these is actually much, much lower than it appears. You end up activating these utility lands a lot less than you'd expect. However, it's not bad. It's here. It's fine. I wouldn't take this particularly highly. If I'm already in these Jeskai colors and there's not like another particularly strong card in the pack for me that fits in a role, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll pick it up because like I don't think it damages the mono base that much. Um, though it does damage it. That has to be noted. Yeah, it does damage your mono base, especially because like dual lands and tri lands, etc., are not plains or islands. So that can really mess with your mana. That can really mess with your curve. And the moment it messes with your curve, it's not worth like the small chance that you have to activate this. So yeah, I'm giving this a C. I'm giving this a C.
Oh, I agree partially with what Scotty said about Modern Limited. You always have things to do. In the last set, you have all things to do. In Foundations, this would be broken because you don't have things to do. Right? That's the previous set. Duskmourn, you have a lot of things to do. It kind of changes around. And this is just initial thought that could change by the end of the set review. You don't have nearly as many things to do in this set in the late game as you had in Ether Drift. In Ether Drift, you had a lot of card draw, you had a lot of mana sinks, you had great looting and even better rummaging, so you were removing those lands and just playing things. Here, there's good ramp, good fixing, and so on, but I don't think there's that much things to do. In late game, card draw is not great. There is some card draw, like draw one card on creatures, which is really powerful, but they're probably going to be taken pretty highly. So I think this land for this set is going to be amazing, and you don't have to sack it. You can just keep doing this. Or like it is 5 mana, gain a card, much weaker than the 2-drop in the last set, but also seems like there's less things to do. And seems like getting lands and mana is pretty not that hard in this set. So I'm gonna go on a C plus or a C. It is 5 mana to do this. Now that's a big problem. So let's go for. It is just a land. I'm on a C plus for this. I think it's gonna be really nice in this set. Next up, same thing, but plains, white mana. If you control swamp or mountain, it enters untapped. For 3 and a tap, that's 4. Whenever you attack this turn, create 2 1/1 boys that are tapped and attacking, and you sack them in the end step. I like this a lot as well. I'm gonna go for a C plus.
This one is mobilized. This one is mobilized.
This one is mobilized.
Right?
They die. They die. Thank God.
These ones do die. But
Yeah.
on a land, and for only 4 mana is pretty good. It's pretty good. I do like this one more than the last one. This is a C+ for me as well.
Okay.
Same deal. Great Arashan City. Tapped unless you control forest or plains. Add black. 1 into black. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Create a 1/1 spirit token. This triggers the cards that care about cards leaving your graveyard.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sick on a land. This is synergistic with your other cards. This can scale up, right? The other cards, well, for example, the Jeskai one doesn't, like, it's expensive. It doesn't really scale with the cards that you have in your deck. But this one, because it's so cheap, scales a lot. I think this is my favorite of all of them
Only
so
3
far. Even
mana.
though 1/1 is not particularly impactful, it's cheap. It's cheap. So B- for me on this one.
Yeah, you can't use it that often. Like if your creature has renewal, I think renewal, something like that. It can do something from the graveyard. So I'm still on a C+ because of that reason. It's not that easy to activate, but I probably like this one the most. Yeah, I do. Green, the same thing, but island and a swamp to enter untapped, and for 4 and a tap you surveil 2. That's 5 mana in total. So we have a red one that just draws you a card. I think this one is probably the weakest one. This one you do like super. I'm gonna be on a C for this one. Just to see. This is the worst one. No extra card advantage, board advantage. Surveil is nice. So I think it's always worth putting in a deck. So just a C, but a lower pick than the rest.
Yeah, I'm kind of off this. This is C- for me.
Okay, let's do this one. The blue one.
Is this Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon?
Now let's do the blue one first.
Sure. Mistrise Village. Mistrise Village is the blue one, tapped unless you control mountain or forest. And blue, the next spell you cast this turn can't be countered. Yeah, I think this is an F.
Yeah, that's an F.
This is not worth it. This is not worth the damage it's going to do to your mana base ever.
This is a constructed card. This is pretty good in constructed. Like it's a land. That's first thing, and then this is gonna be important in constructed. And like when you're gonna play your game-winning card or something, board wipe, whatever, pay 2 can be great, especially in a rampy deck. I love this for constructed, but F, just don't play it. Play an island that's always untapped. Next up, Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. It taps for colorless, but it can also tap for any color, but only to cast a dragon or an omen spell. Omen is the new adventure. It is same as an adventure. The card, you can play it as a creature, or you can play it as an omen, which is instant or sorcery. But when you play it as an omen, which used to be adventure, it doesn't go into your exile to cast it again. It goes back into your deck. So it's like a weaker adventure. Right? You're not going to be able to cast it right away. You gotta draw it again. It's just strictly weaker adventure. For 4 and a tap and sack this, you can search your library for a dragon card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. I don't like this at all. It's colorless, only for certain cards. There's not that many dragons. Yeah, this I would say is a D-, close to an F. I don't think I'm gonna almost ever play it.
It's a D-. Yep. Sad.
Oh, we're onto the colorless mythics. Do they exist? They do? Oh, yeah, they do exist. Sorry?
I think it is a little sad that you say this set doesn't have a whole lot of dragons and it's called Dragonstorm. That's a little sad, isn't it?
I mean, it's just that they're like 5 drops, 6 drops. I think 1 4 drop or something. So that's the thing, right? They cost so much. So even if there would be more, you usually don't have dragons that cost 1 or 2 or 3 mana. You can't put too many in your deck. I don't think it's sad. I don't think the set has a bit of things with dragons. I think it's probably well enough, so you don't just have like always have a ton of dragons. It's kind of something to think about. Do I want more dragons? Do I care about dragons or not? I'm okay. It has way more dragons than any set, right? So there is a lot of dragons compared to other sets, but for like if you're gonna be constantly playing dragons, I don't think that's gonna be happening. I'm not sad about it at all. I think it's the right amount.
Can you read the next card? My
Yeah.
internet will not load the next card.
Yeah, it's Mox Jasper. For 0 mana, legendary artifact, you can tap it to add 1 of any color, activate it only if you control dragon. This is an F, because the dragons cost 5-6 mana, there is I think 1 or 2 that cost 4. Complete garbage, absolute garbage. You don't want to play this, it's not worth a full card. So bye-bye with this thing. You don't. Maybe if you could behold it, it would be different, but then it would be probably way too powerful, as it would be crazy in constructed when you have dragons. Yeah, an F. You too, Scotty?
Just an F, yeah.
Do you want
An
me to
F,
read the
yes.
next one?
Is there another mythic? Yeah, then please.
Yeah. Ugin, Eye of the Storms. For 7 mana, it's a 7 loyalty planeswalker. Whenever it has a static ability, when you cast this spell, exile, I guess it's not it has an ability without you activating loyalty cost, and that one is when you cast this spell, exile up to 1 target permanent, that's 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent, that's 1 or more colors. So, you paid for 7, you get rid of basically anything on the battlefield. It is a 7-drop, remember. And then whenever you're gonna do another colorless thing, you're gonna exile anything on the battlefield. Forever. It's never gonna come back. So, that's pretty powerful. But it's a planeswalker. So for +2, you gain 3 life and you draw a card. So, yes, it's a 7-drop. It kills their best creature, or whatever they have. And then you're drawing cards, it goes to 9 loyalty. That is never dying. That is that thing, that is never dying. Is there a common removal that kills planeswalkers? Yes, good. Good. All the common removals target the planeswalkers. Yes! Beautiful. Except the blue one. Beautiful. All of them targeted. Nice. But if you don't have that, and also some of those is damage, except the black one, that is 9, you just killed something, you draw a card, you gain 3 life, you're gonna continue doing this. You're gonna continue plussing, and this is not gonna die. This is, just from that's a bomb. But you can pay 0 to add 3 colorless mana. I don't know why I would need that, but sure, why not? Sure, it's there. It's there. I don't think you're ever gonna do it. The only time I think you can do it is somehow, in weird thing happened, where you paid 7 for this, and you have a colorless card for 1 to 3 mana in your hand, and then you pay 0, and you play it, and you kill another thing. I don't know how that happens when you're playing a 7-drop, but it can. And for -11, which is a real possibility, search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, then shuffle. Until end of turn, you may cast those cards without paying their mana costs. So, you can plus 3 times, you just killed something, right? And you drew 3 extra cards, and you gain 9 life. I don't think this ult is ever gonna be cast, but how many colorless cards do you even have in your deck? Non-land cards, probably not that many. But I guess maybe you have 2 left and you somehow didn't win already. And you -11 to get those cards and kill 2 of the opponent's things forever. So that could be something. This is an A+, I would say. I think this is a complete bomb. Absolutely wild. Also colorless.
Okay, I'm giving it an A. And this is not like a normal, like I give A pluses nowadays, but I think this is a little worse than that. But we don't have to fight about it too much. I just think it's a little expensive and it doesn't close out the game on its own. And I think you can possibly just deck yourself.
For +2?
Yep.
Just draw 1 extra card?
Yep. I mean, if you're spending some of your slots of expensive cards to not actually close out the game, you could just run out of threats and then you'll just die.
Yeah, but I mean, if one of the threats that you play is a colorless card, you kill another biggest thing that I have.
True. Yeah. If you have enough colorless cards, it's insane.
Yeah, like if you have 3.
A couple. If you have a couple colorless cards,
3,
it's insane.
like 3, right?
Yeah, that's insane.
3 is insane.
I think if you have a single 1/5 Reacher in your deck, you'll just never lose after casting this.
Okay, sure. In your deck, I mean, I can't. What the fuck is that, man? What kind of? What are you? I can't get behind that. What is this? Why are we never gonna lose if you have one of those in the deck?
Yep, you're never gonna lose.
Because you're not gonna. This draws you one card per turn. It's not like 3 cards and mill 3 cards or something. It's like one card. You're not gonna deck yourself with this. What is this, Scotty? Like, how do you deck? Come on, man. Is that the reason why?
Run out of threats?
Yeah, run out of threads. I mean, then every card sucks because you run out of threads. Like, because I don't have any more threads in the deck, so I lose, I guess. You kill their biggest threat, right? And you're probably gonna kill another.
That's true. You do have omens. You can just keep on omening.
Yeah. Okay. That's broken. I have a hard time believing this is not gonna be one of the biggest bombs in the set. Okay, we're done with colorless. Scotty, how about this? There are less monocolored cards in this set. I think for this set, since it's so heavily into 3 colors,